Hi, thanks for joining. It's Patty from pspapercrafts. I just want to get something real quick. I feel like my holder for my camera is going to tip over, so I wanted to put a punch on it. I usually have that on it. Anyway, thanks for joining me today. I want to make a really fun fold card, fun fold, and this is called a W card. So isn't that cool? So the W comes from, I guess it could be an M card if you looked at it this way, but this way. So it makes like a W. And I saw this on Splitcoaststampers. I don't know if any of you look at that, but they have some amazing, it's not just Stampin' Up, they have all different card makers. This was made by Mary Deatherage. Deatherage? I'm hoping I'm saying her name right. And she was featured showing this card, and she had all the steps and all the instructions. So I just changed up the paper and the stamp set and made it my own. So I love that. So this is a vertical portrait card. The one I'm going to make today is going to go this way. And all it is how you put your paper, how you cut your paper and how you put your paper on it. So this is just a fun card. I have all the pieces cut already. I'm using the Cottage Rose stamp set and the coordinating dies. And I really didn't use the dies, to be honest, on this card. I will use them on the next card. So you could get away with just the stamp set. And then I did use the Abigail Rose Designer Series paper. I love this print. This is like my favorite print in the whole pack. And I used this one we're going to use for the next card. And it just has some really pretty patterns. I love the leaves. And then let me just find the one for the inside. So aren't they pretty? This is what I use for the inside layer for both cards. So let me just get out my pieces. I have everything made, or cut anyway. And I cut all of my squares using the Stylish Shape dies. This is a new die set, and I think it's a great one to have. It has squares, circles, and then the banners, which I use for the happy birthday. But if you don't have this, you can cut, and I'm going to have a project sheet on my blog, and you can just go to my blog, print out, or download the project sheet, and it will have the dies that I use, but it also have the sizes you can cut if you want to cut it on your own. And then you can just cut a strip and do a flag on each end if you wanted to do the same thing. Hi, Tara. Oh, Tennessee. It must be beautiful there. Is it hot? It's been hot. I'm in Florida. It's very hot. So anyway, we're going to do this card, but we're going to use different papers, and we're going to make it landscape, or what I would call horizontal. I'm old. Landscape and portrait, I call them vertical and horizontal. So these are the papers. I have everything cut and ready. We do have to do some scoring here. So let me have this just open so you can see what it looks like. And again, I'll have all the measurements on this project sheet. If you go to my blog, pspapercrafts.com, you can get all that information. So I'm going to just get my paper trimmer. You can use your scoring tool if you don't have a paper trimmer that does scoring, or you could just use a ruler. And let me just get this stuff out of the way, because I have to open my arm for this. So this only goes up to 6 inches, and if you want to go further, and we need to do that. So we are going to score it at 5.5, and that is what's the normal fold for a card. So that's what this is, right? So it's 5.5. This is 5.5. This is 11 across. And then we've got to fold, score the ends to make the W. So we're going to do 2 3/4. So we'll go 2 3/4. And we'll just close this down. And then we're going to go all the way out to 8 1/4. And that will give us kind of the W fold. Okay, and that's all we need this for. Everything else is cut. Not real hot. You used to live in Florida too, yes. My sister lives in North Carolina in the mountains, way out west, and I think it's been hot there, I thought. She's on a farm with goats. She makes the goat cheese and caramel and all that good stuff. and it's just beautiful country. So I'm folding this in half, and then I'm going to fold these back, and that will give us our W. So see? So once you have that piece figured out and down, you're good to go. And then we'll just do this one. Okay, and now we have the pieces for the inside of our card. All right, so we want to decorate it. And the lady, Mary, that designed this, that I'm copying, she did the front first because she felt it was too bulky. This card probably can't go through the mail unless you paid extra postage. It's very bulky. I put some, decorated the top, but even if you didn't put much there, this whole inside really makes it bulky. So if you're going to give it to someone, put it in a special envelope or hand deliver it, or put it in a box if you're sending a package. So again, this one we're going to make vertical or horizontal, and I decided I was going to use a piece of crumb cake. I was kind of back and forth between that, and let me just see, I have a piece of white here. I kind of play with it. So you can do the crumb cake as the layer or the white. So whichever you want, or you can use a different paper even. So this is the white. I'm going to use the crumb cake. I like the white, but I thought the crumb cake just kind of, I liked better. I love this print, the flowers in this color. I think it's so pretty. So let's put this together. I'm going to just use some liquid glue and put it together. And then I have to decide if I want to put ribbon around it. And I have a couple of thoughts on that. So we can work on that together. So we'll just get this, it's a very tight border. Okay. And aren't these colors just so pretty? They're very elegant to me. So now I can put, I just got this ribbon. I actually won a prize patrol, and I got ribbon and these and some other embellishments, and I'm going to use these. I was like, perfect timing. So I can do this and put this around. So keep that in mind when we get there. And then I had another idea. So what we're going to do is we're going to make this like a wedding card, and we're going to use the best wishes from the Cottage Rose stamp set. You can use "You Are Positively the Greatest." You can do whatever you want. So I used one of the squares from the Fabulous Shapes. So I used this square, the second from the largest for the crumb cake, and then the third from the largest for the inside, as well as this one. All right, and all of my stamping is going to be done in early espresso. And let me just get the best wishes. And we're just going to stamp this right in the center here. Okay, and then I want to stamp. I'm going to just grab a piece of scrap. I want to stamp a flower, and I want it to be very light. So I'm going to stamp it once, stamp it twice, and then stamp it right over the sentiment. So it's just like a little background. I thought it was pretty that way. Okay, and this is where we have to make our decision. What I wanted to do, let me just find my pieces. I did cut out with the dies, so I said I used the dies on this one. I cut a couple of pieces of the flowers, and let me just show you the dies so you can see what I'm doing. So the dies are great. They cut out the big stamp, this one, and then there's a die for this one. Actually, I think it's this die. You can actually stamp these three and cut it with this part of the die. There's a lot there. So I just cut out this one and then this little piece here out of white cardstock. So I decided to do that and then put this behind it. That's what I was thinking of doing. Or I could do this ribbon, but I kind of like this. So we're gonna go with this, okay? And so we can put this down. If I were to put the ribbon down, like on this card, I put this piece of baker's twine down. I had to wrap it around before I adhered this layer to the card base so that it would tuck behind it. So if I was going to do that with this, I would just tape it around the back and then I would adhere that to the card base. So let's just put this down with a little bit of liquid glue. Let me see what you're saying over there. Oh, thanks. Yeah, I love brown, so I think this is a great color. And, you know, I always go by the papers. It always tells you on the paper pack what colors go together, go with the paper anyway. So we have this down, and then I want to put this down. And so I think this would be a great wedding card. So let's put this down flat. And we'll just put it down here. I didn't want to cover too much of those flowers because I thought they were really pretty. And then we can put this down and we'll pop this up and we'll push these behind it. So let's put these down first. And I'm just going to put a little glue at the bottom part of it. All right, so let's see how that looks. And we'll just put this one as well. And you can add more of these if you wanted. So I'm just putting a little glue down here at the bottom. Let's see how that's all going to get hidden. All right, that looks good to me. So let me get some dimensionals and put these on the back here. And then we'll work on the inside. So it's, you know, it's a good idea to get the outside done first so that you're not working with all this bulk on the inside while you're trying to lay this down flat. Okay. And then we'll do this right there. And I'm going to put some bling on it, but I'm going to wait for that. Okay. So now we want to make sure that when we put this down, we're going this way as opposed to this way. So just double check yourself. Before we do that, we want to put this paper down. And again, you can use whatever papers you want. And let's just put this down with some liquid glue. I thought about using this side, but I thought it was too dark against the early espresso. So we just want a little bit of a rim around this. You don't want to go over the fold. And we'll just put this one down. All the way over there. And the liquid glue gives you that little bit of time to get everything in place. All right, so now we want to put our W down. I keep thinking W. So I'm just going to put some glue on this side. And I want to get it, I'm going to do it this way, and hopefully I'll remember which direction I'm going in. I just want to get a good look to make sure it's even, and we want to go all the way up to the edge. And then we want to put some glue on this side and stretch it all the way down. So you don't want any glue on those middle parts, otherwise it won't open and close. All right, perfect. So there you have it, very easy. Now all you have to do is decorate. So I'm going to decorate pretty much similar to this one. So this one, I'm actually going to do something a little different. This one, I used this paper, which is here, and I just kind of looked with the die and tried to cut, let me just get the die. I tried to cut part of the flower that I wanted to. So I just measured this die. I think it's a little over 2 inches. So I cut a strip, and then I would go down and kind of figure out where I wanted a piece. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to just, stamp it. So you can just kind of go down on your paper, whatever you want to do. But we're not going to do the die cutting today. We're going to just stamp it, and I'm going to use that big, where is it? This big flower. And I am stamping in early espresso, and it just stamps beautifully. I was thinking of doing pink or something like that, but I thought this just is beautiful. So I'm happy with it. Let me just stamp it down here, make sure it looks good. And I really want to kind of go over this whole square. Okay. We'll do that. And then we'll also do this flower. And I'm just thinking, I don't have an inside sentiment. I probably should have an inside sentiment. On the other one I did. So we have these two pieces. And then on this one I have "You Are Positively the Greatest." I don't think I want that on a wedding card. So I'm going to leave it blank, and I'll find the stamp in my stash and I will, when I do my final pictures, I'll show you what that looks like. So we're going to just have 2 blanks and 2 stamped. So let's just put these together. Thank you. I'm glad you like it. I really like this design, and you know, sometimes when I look at cards online, I think, oh, that looks so complicated. But when you break it down, and when somebody else already gave you the measurements, it's real easy. And then the papers, I love the Stampin' Up! Papers. They're like my favorite product. They really do such a good job. Okay, and then we'll do this one. And again, I'll stamp some kind of sentiment. I'll find, I must have a set that says something about, you know, wedding. Because I do have a wedding to go to, not till the fall, but I think this would be a perfect card for it. I think this paper also, not that you would want to do this, but if you just made a simple card, it would be a great pattern for a sympathy card. And just have a plain inside. You wouldn't want it to have all that stuff inside, I don't think. So now we want to make sure that we have everything going, again, this way. So let's do this one here. And you kind of want to make them even. And we'll have the 2 blank ones, and then we'll end with this flower. Okay? Now you want to just put the glue in the center. You don't want it, especially these pieces, you don't want it to get caught where the card won't move. Okay, so we're just going to do this, and you want to make sure you have kind of even space between the fold. You want to make sure you don't go over the fold, and you want these to be pretty straight across. So you want everything to look good across, and that's why the liquid glue really makes it nice. So we'll just do the center of each one. Make sure it goes this way. I almost went the other way. And then this one. So we'll go this way. And this liquid glue is strong, so it really holds good. And I just want to make sure that everything stays put before I close it. All right, I'm just going to put that aside for a second. And then I think I will use these. So I wanted to just show you these. They're called Heart Pearls, and they're in the new catalog. And they're little tiny hearts. They're really pretty, and these are more pearl, and these are kind of, they have white in them. They're kind of opaque, however you say that word. So on this card, I use those white ones. I put one up here, and then I put a couple inside. Okay, so on this one, I'm going to put a couple inside as well. And I want to use the pearl ones. I just think pearls and wedding. So let's do a big one down here, and a little one up here. I'm thinking I want to put something in here, but again, I'm gonna figure out what I'm going to put in there, and then I will show it on the on my blog. So let's just put one, oops, right here. And then, let's see, let's do a big one. They're kind of funny because I'm picking them up crooked. Maybe I'll just do one big one here. Okay. So come to my blog, pspapercrafts.com. I will have pictures and I'll have the inside completely done. But these are the two cards. I like them both ways, the portrait and the landscape. And I think they're just fun. And see how easy it was once you had all your pieces cut. Very simple. Yeah, sympathy cards are difficult, but when I saw this, I thought wedding and sympathy. I don't know why. That's not a good combination, is it? But yeah, they are difficult. But I think a pretty paper and just something very simple would be good. Even this one. So anyway, thanks for joining me. I hope to be here next Wednesday at 1. If you're not familiar, if you haven't followed me, I am moving, and my house goes on the market next Thursday. So I should be ready. If I'm not ready by Wednesday, I'm in trouble. And then Thursday, then after that, it's going to be a little spotty with when I move and things like that. The other thing I want to mention is right now, June 1st is when this is on, the retiring list for the mini catalog is out. So if there's anything that you wanted in the mini catalog that may not carry over, you can go to my blog, go to my online store. The link is below. And you could shop. Some of the items are up to 50% off. And then the other thing is there's a kit special going on, buy one, get one. So you buy one and you get one for 50% off. And that's a great deal as well. But anyway, thanks so much for joining, and you guys have a good day. Bye.